And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Ryan Metzler.
Mystery Rummy Jack the Ripper is a two-player card game in the Mystery Rummy line, which I will be doing a review series on in the following weeks. Hey everybody, Slacker here again, and this time I'm going to be showing you one of the games in the Mystery Rummy series. They come in small boxes like this. They're little card games that are available for play, usually from 2 up to 5 players. And this is not actually the Mystery Rummy game I'm reviewing, I'm just showing you the box. Today we're going to be taking a look at Mystery Rummy Jack the Ripper and the cards and rules that are included. So why don't we get to it? In the box comes these rules. It's a multiple-page rulebook. It's pretty big for a small 2-player game. But what we're looking at here is a fold-out rulebook with quite a bit of information in it. However, it's really poorly written. I mean, I went through these on my own a couple times. I still didn't exactly understand what I was doing until I really got down and played the game. It may be best to have somebody teach you if you want to learn this. So, you know, these are just kind of there if you really want to try and sift through it. Aside from the rules, what we get in the box is a deck of cards. You can see here there's multiple colors. There's a couple different kinds of cards in the box. But really, these are all of the components you're going to get. The rulebook, the box, and this deck of cards. So why don't we take a look at what kind of different cards there are and what the rules of play are. Mystery Rummy is based off of the typical Rummy game in which you're trying to collect sets of cards in order to play melds. In Mystery Rummy Jack the Ripper, you're collecting suspects, which are evidence cards, indicated by the magnifying glass in the upper left-hand corner. If you have at least 3 of a specific type of card, you may play it to the table and earn points for them, as indicated in the upper right-hand corner. On your turn, you will draw 1 card from the deck or from the top of the discard pile. When you have at least 3 of the same type of evidence card in your hand, you may meld them to the table and earn points at the end of the round. As you can see, there are several different types of evidence cards, including blue, brown, pink, all of which represent a different suspect in the Jack the Ripper case. Additionally, there are wild cards, which allow you to complete sets without having 3 of the same type of card. The caveat is that this card cannot be used for one of the suspects, brown, and therefore may only be used to complete the colors listed along the left-hand side. As an additional rule to Mystery Rummy, they have included special cards that give you different actions on your turn. These are called Gvle Cards, which only one of may be played on each of your turns. As you can see here, this is the Alibi Card for Montague Druitt. It has a gavel in the upper left-hand corner, and is worth 3 points. When you play this card to the table, it says that Montague Druitt cannot be Jack the Ripper, which is important for end-of-game scoring. Another type of Gvle card is the Suspect card, which lists one of the suspects in the Jack the Ripper case. These cards provide a significant amount of points to the player who plays them for that Jack the Ripper suspect. Additionally, the Alibi card shown earlier prevents that card from being Jack the Ripper for this hand. Now this is important in endgame scoring, or in end-hand scoring, because the person that is the Jack the Ripper will earn double points for all cards they have on the table. In addition, there are victim cards, also Gvle cards. You may only play 1 Gvle card on your turn. Victim cards allow you to take a special action of drawing 2 cards when you play that, getting you a bigger hand size. Additionally, if you play a victim to the table, when the scene that matches it is in play, you get to steal that scene from your opponent. That brings us to scenes. Scenes allow you to take any 1 card from the discard pile on your turn when you play it. Additionally, if the matching victim is in play when you play the scene card, you get to take it to your own play area. Finally, there are 3 special types of cards with no color. These are 1, the Commissioner Resigns card. The Commissioner Resigns card says that all players immediately put any victim cards in their hand into play. Now, this is important because there's a special benefit to having all of the victim cards in play. The next card is the Ripper Strikes. The Ripper Strikes forces the player to put the top 5 cards of the deck into the discard pile and place any victims flipped that way into his play area. Now, again, this is important because if there's a specific card in your hand, which I'm about to show you next, and all of the victims are in play, you can immediately earn a shutout, meaning that only you score points. Finally, there's the Ripper Escapes card, which is the big endgame type card for this game. And what this card allows you to do is that you may immediately play it at any point when all 5 victims are in play. If you do so, you're going to be the only player to score for that round, which is big since you're trying to play to a set amount of points. Here we can see a mid-game scenario for Mystery Rummy Jack the Ripper. On one side we have a player who has melded pink and blue melds, Gvle the Ripper and Montague Druid respectively. They've also played the suspect card for Gvle the Ripper, which adds an additional 4 points for that meld. On the other side, we have the player who has melded Prince Eddie, with 1 wild card in addition to it. Additionally, they have laid off a blue and pink card off of the other player's meld. Finally, they have played an Alibi card, which prevents Gvle the Ripper from being the Ripper at the end of the game. This is important because the color that has the most points on the table at the end of the round will score double points. Additionally, at some point during the middle of the game, the players may vote, a secret vote, on which player they believe will be Jack the Ripper. If they choose correctly, they will score a bonus 10 points at the end of the round. The game of Mystery Rummy Jack the Ripper will continue on with players playing cards, playing melds in their own play area to earn points, playing cards off of their opponent's melds into their play area to earn more points, and trying to get their opponent to get victims into play if perhaps they have the Ripper Escape cards. If they get that Ripper Escape card, they really want to try and get all 5 victims into play quickly and get the Ripper Escapes card onto the table so they can be the only player that scores. You usually play to a preset amount of points. Having that amount of points set means that the game won't go too long. If you want a longer game, you can just increase the amount of points. And it's a really fun game. It's a good dynamic to it. It's nice and light. You can learn it really fast as long as you don't read the terrible rules. And you can get a couple games in, or at least 1 game in, pretty quickly. This is one of my favorite 2-player card games, Mystery Rummy Jack the Ripper. Great times. A little hard to find right now on the market, but if you can get your hands on a copy of this, I'd say go for it. Very good 2-player game.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Yeah?